Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Sean Slater.
And I'm his sister Caroline.
And today we're watching minute 113, which continues with the look development and ends a minute later with Sony Pictures Imageworks.
I have aptly titled this minute, Even More Names.
Yes, but finally, okay, I say finally, but it's the second time, we get the second name that matches one of ours, and that is Sean Tadlock. I hope I'm saying his last name right.
I hope so too. That's what it looks like. Sean Tadlock, if you're listening, we apologize if we're butchering your last name.
So he was a production assistant under the custom animation production section of the credits. And he also has some, he's got 3 other production assistant credits for Smallfoot, Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation, and a short film called The Secret of 40. But yeah, go Sean, maybe. I don't know him. He might be a jerk, but please don't be a jerk.
So that brings the total count as 2 Seans and 1 other Caroline, which I've been counting Carolyn.
Yeah, and then, again, more numbers. We get 50 post-production credits, or names. Some of those are companies. 10 in resource management, 13 in the custom animation production, and 33 in production. One of the titles, I guess, one of the credits that I thought was cool / interesting was they had a DJ specifically credited for the record scratching. Instead of just sticking him in as part of the music credits, they had a separate credit here for him.
That's like the caffeination credit in Disney movies.
Yeah.
Which, if anyone doesn't know, let me just explain this real quick. It's my favorite credit to look for whenever I see a Disney movie. Specifically, the animated ones will always have a credit for whoever. It's just called caffeination, and it's always one person. I've yet to see more than one person. And I guess they just do the coffee runs? I don't know. I don't know what that job entails, but I love that credit.
Not just coffee, sometimes, maybe tea or
a Red Bull.
Yeah, or some energy drinks or something.
Just what people need. Just keep them awake.
Yeah.
They have DJ scratching. That actually is really cool.
Yeah, and I love, it's record scratching. They have a DJ for it. Not a DJ. It's not a person just to scratch the DJ's back as he's working.
That would be a fun credit.
Or the reason this jumped out at me is I just love record scratching in music and that kind of music. And it's one that I'm always trying to find some more of that genre that I enjoy. But moving on. One of the things I wanted to bring up were the people that worked on the credits. So they, I don't know if outsourced is the right word, but they hired other companies to do the different sections of the credits.
Alright. Is this for the opening credits or
everything?
Okay, all of them. Cool.
Yes. So the opening logos was done by a company called Deva Studios. And they've done a lot of really big name ones. They did the new Star Wars logo, which is seen at the beginning of The Mandalorian. I don't know if it's been used in the new season of Clone Wars, but those are the only 2 things that would have come out that had them. And this is one where it's the different masks flashing, and then it comes up and it says Star Wars. They've also done the Aquaman logo and some of the VFX for that, as well as works on the Lego movies, the various Lego movies, How to Train Your Dragon 3, a bunch of other ones going back a number of years. But they pretty much just do the logos, and then at least from what I could tell from their site, it looks like they just do the logos and then some trailer effects, they were talking about. For Aquaman specifically, the one I was looking at was getting the water splashing to work and figuring out how to do that. And some of the dragon scales effects and How to Train Your Dragon, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is what they did, and they just did the opening logos here.
That's really cool. First off, just to focus on logos, like I guess that really goes to show just how important logos and credits like that are. Because if you get an eye-catching logo, especially for a movie or something, like Spider-Verse, to use Spider-Verse, and I know that was the opening credits, but like we gushed for almost an hour about how cool those opening credits were.
Yeah.
Like that should tell you right there. It's like I think we even said like those are some of the few opening credits we will actually fully sit down and watch because we love them that much.
Yeah.
And like just even when you think of some of those movies, like those are some kind of iconic fonts or logos. Like you see them and you don't question. Like you could just see it without the words, and you see the font, and you're like, that's referencing this.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it like they picked fonts though, because like the How to Train Your Dragon ones would have been done before them. The Aquaman stuff, like the major iconography for it was done sort of before them, I guess. The Lego movies they might have had a bigger hand in.
Yeah.
Because they worked on all of those for the opening logos. Yeah, they did a good job in like looking through. They did the 2018 Tomb Raider starring Alicia Vikander. And like that one's just the name and it's got like an arrow going through it, but it's still pretty cool looking.
Sometimes the simple ones are all you need.
Yeah. The next title, or the next like end titles is the ones called the Main on End, which I didn't realize these had a separate name, but these are the credits that were like going through the psychedelic part of the credits. And this is where like usually a single person will be on screen or like a small group of people will be on screen at a time and not the rolling credits. But this was done by Alma Mater.
I love that name.
Yeah. And they pretty much just do main on end credits and commercials. They also did them for the Lego movies as well, the main on end credits.
Okay. So cool. Those are also some very fun end credits.
Yeah, and then the end crawl, which is the bit we're working through now, was done by a company called Scarlet Letters. And again, this is a company that specializes in the end crawl. And they, on their site, they say they've done a total of 48 in 2019 and 50 in 2018.
Whoa.
So they do a lot of these rather quickly. Although, like, not to minimize the amount of like work that goes into these, I feel like the end crawl is a little bit simpler to do because it's not as like VFX heavy. With what they're doing, it's mostly just like, okay, you got this crawl, like this text crawl, you just gotta, get it to stylize and then create a background to stick it on and do that. And they do some like just plain black on white. They can have like some of the end crawls that have like the bloopers interspersed in them. Yeah. Like those where it's just like, okay, you stick this video in here, which is how I think they're able to do essentially almost one per week for a year. Or they quit, like, I don't think they actually do one in a week, but they average one in a week. It probably takes them a couple weeks to do.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It might only take them one per week. But yeah, that was just like, usually I feel like you don't really think about other people doing the credits companies.
Yeah. It's definitely new to me.
It kind of reminds me of like game trailers, how like those get farmed out to other companies. Mm-hmm. And like the one that just jumps in my head is a company called Blur.
I am familiar with the company name.
That was all I had for this minute. Did you have anything else?
No, that is all I have for this minute as well. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you on Friday with minute 114. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.